Hello, everyone. Welcome to Speakers Bank Podcast Special Edition. I'm Mary, a member of the podcast team working for Speakers Bank, and I'm very happy to let you know and introduce our special guest for today that he has been featured previously and also, she has done the first episode, and this is our second episode of the two series. And I would like to let you know that with our special guest, she has a lifetime passion for advocating people's lives, especially the disability, the quality life. And despite her disabilities, her dedication and leadership is truly amazing and incredible. So we are privileged now to have this opportunity that we finally get to speak with her, and we will know, as being a successful career woman, she is now living in the dream. Please welcome Louise. Hi, Louise.
Hi
Hi.
Mary, how are you?
How are you, Lou?
Good, thanks.
Nice to meet you. And for our this episode, as you are going to share to us your magnificent story, the humble beginnings, your lifetime passion of advocacy, your mission, vision, goals. Please share to us. Thank you.
They're actually, it's a hard question to be honest. I suppose being a person of my age, when I was younger, there wasn't the same amount of support for people with disabilities around. So a lot of what I wanted to achieve in life, I had to fight for. So you either fought for it or you just didn't exist, like you just weren't recognised. So I suppose my passion in life is to make sure, excuse my cats are about to enter the picture, Mary, to make sure that people with disabilities have a voice and they feel confident enough to speak up for themselves and their rights, and ensuring that they get treated equally compared to everyone else in society.
Yes.
So that's my passion. And so being that drives me, I've always worked in community services sector or teaching, and always hoping that what jobs I've worked in will help make a difference in that. So, people will actually benefit from my work, and it's not just, I go to work 9 to 5 and it's finished. It's I go to work because I'm passionate about what I actually do.
Wow. Even though it's a difficult question, Lou, definitely you amaze me that your passion is to be use your voice and your passion to be have this equally treated as, did I hear it right?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. With moving on to the next question, Lou, please tell us about your ladder to success when it comes to your work history. Your the way you started for looking for a job interview, and of course, please include your prestigious nomination, awards, everything. We are all ears. Thank you.
I remember the very first job I had. So I'd finished. I started doing a university degree, and I felt that the university wasn't treating me fairly, and they were quite discriminatory.
Mm-hmm.
And after 2 years of that, I just thought, I've had enough. I don't have I had a lot going on in my personal life, and I didn't have the energy to waste on dealing with bad attitude, basically. So I went, I need to find something that can help me get a job that's easy and that I know I'll, succeed easily. So I did back then a certificate 4, it's called a certificate 4 now.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was called an advanced certificate in business administration, just in general admin, because I knew I was good at it and I knew I'd pass it with flying colours. When I started that course, I know there was still some hesitation from my teachers. It wasn't voiced, but I found out later that I was right in there, wondering how I was going to succeed with my physical disabilities, but mainly because of my vision, because it's so poor. I quickly proved to them that I could do that course. It was very easy. And I would be way ahead in my classwork that I'd actually go into class just to help other students do their work. So as a result of that, they actually nominated me for Student of the Year. So at the beginning, it was like, can she do it? And at the end, it's like, well, she's far exceeded what we expected. We're nominating her. Unfortunately, I didn't win, but it was still an honour to be nominated. So from that, I joined a DES provider, a disability employment service provider, to help me find work. And I learned very quickly what the role of an employment consultant was, and that they're not there to do the work for you, that they're there to assist you in looking for work. And the reason I say that is because I remember the very first job my employment consultant found for me, I lasted 3 days before I quit. It was at a person's home. I have enough health issues without needing anything added. He was a smoker and he smoked inside his home. Mm-hmm. He was in a lot of debt, so every time the phone would ring, he wouldn't answer it. I'd have to deal with it. And then I remember Centrelink ringing and going, do you realise that the person before you that was employed hasn't been paid yet? And the man standing right beside me listening, and it was a very awkward moment. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is not enjoyable work. I'm going home crying every night because of the stress of this job. Mm-hmm. So I quit and made my employment consultant go and get all my equipment because I wasn't going back there. Mm-hmm. So I learned really fast, you know what? If I want a job, I need to do it myself. And to do it yourself, there's a lot more pleasure in achieving a new job. So from there, the same employment consultant said to his manager, they were looking for someone just to cover the phones while their admin person was on leave. And he said, I don't know what she's capable of doing, but I'm sure she can answer the phones. Mm-hmm. And I still laughed at the day when he said that, because by the end of that placement, I was actually assisting the CEO in his work. So from being, she might be able to answer the phones to actually being able to do high-end admin was, I don't need to say anything. I can prove this with my actions. So from there, I actually got a permanent role with the organisation as an admin person. And I knew that admin, although it was easy work, it wasn't really what I wanted to do because I didn't feel like I was giving back in any way. So originally I was actually started a teaching degree because I wanted to teach people. I thought, that's not going to work at the moment, and I don't want to go back to uni because it was just hell. So an opportunity came up at work to run this pilot program. So I was running this pilot program as well as being the receptionist at one of the sites. And from there, it gave me a little bit of exposure to case management. So the next step from there was actually to become an employment consultant. And I did that for a few years, and I was getting a bit bored and wasn't really happy with my direct supervisor. We didn't get along very well. Mm-hmm. So I actually applied for a role called quality management consultant. Mm-hmm. So that was a really exciting job. It was something very new. They hadn't had this position before. And it was about developing their quality system. So developing the structure, the framework, writing all the policies and procedures and the documents to support it, auditing the system internally. It was a massive job, but a challenge I really enjoyed. And I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then I was given the opportunity to go and work for an actual certification body. So basically sort of the work I was doing, the internal auditing, become an external audit job. And that was really exciting. It was something I never thought I'd get into. So I was a technical expert. So based on the National Standards for Disability Services, when you're audited against them, they needed to have a technical expert, which is basically, it was reverse discrimination for a change. They had to actually have someone with a disability on the audit team. It was a requirement of the standard. So I got to travel quite a bit through Victoria and Tasmania, and I loved it. Unfortunately, my mum got unwell, so I actually quit that job in the end. And it's like, what am I going to do with myself now, They always say, stay positive. When one door shuts, another door opens. Yeah. So from there, I was chatting to a friend on Facebook, and she was running a certificate in disability studies for a private provider. And I said to her, I'm doing that course at the moment. She goes, you shouldn't be doing that course. You should be running that course. And I thought, you know what, you're right. And she said, I work for RMIT. Why don't you put your resume in for a casual position and see how you go? So I did that, and I actually got the position, which was really exciting. So I actually got to teach. So it's sort of like full circle, I wanted to be a teacher, primary school specialised education, but now I'm teaching adults to become good support workers and know how to treat people out in the community, which, a lot of people, when they haven't worked with people with disabilities, they assume that you want sympathy, and you don't want pointed out to you what you can't do. You want pointed out to you what you're good at and what you can do. I think, you know, a lot of people I know this really like to focus on the positives. And then later last year, I actually had a job in between. I actually did support coordination for a while. I won't go into that, but basically it's helping people implement their NDIS plan. And that was really exciting. From there, I did the teaching, and then I got the opportunity. I registered on the NDIS employment register, and they called me and offered me an interview for a planner position. And I thought, oh, excuse the French, but what the hell? Like, I've got nothing to lose. I've got my casual job with RMIT. I can always continue my casual work. And I actually said to my manager at RMIT, I'm not going to take the job. I just want to see if I can get it. And then I did the interview, and I actually want that job. I got the job. I was stoked, and the great thing was I was actually able to negotiate part-time hours, because my belief in life is that, you know, I'm not going to push myself and burn myself out, because not only is that letting myself down, but it lets my employer down too, because then they're left without a staff member. And that was how I sold it to them, you know. If I work full-time and I burn myself out, it's no good to you, because then you're going to have to train somebody else to do the same job. So I started that in January, and then, as you know, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So it's been a interesting time learning to work from home in a very new position. But so far I'm loving it. So that's my employment history and where I am today.
Oh, what a great, you know, ladder of a story, Lou. It's inspiring and so awesome. Thanks for sharing that humble beginnings.